just did the standard workout routine, what we did before the division series, a couple extra days, but this time of the year you'll be fine as far as live pitching goes. We had the option to see if you wanted to. If you didn't, great, but we'll be ready to go tomorrow.
He said we do what we're supposed to do, and we're going to be ready tomorrow.
To your left, guys. Pedro.
Christian, what would you say is Craig Counsell's best attribute that he brings here?
I think just his demeanor. Like there's so many ups and downs over the course of baseball season, baseball game, especially in the postseason, and you just need to stay even-keeled and don't ride the wave of emotion, whether it's positive or negative. And I think he does a great job of setting that tone for our ball club of, hey, we're just going to stay right where we're at, level-headed, don't get too high, don't get too low, and the guys follow his lead, and he's been great for us this year.
If I could just real quick, how much are you guys aware of his Milwaukee roots, and do you think that plays any role with what he's done?
I've become more aware of it over the last few weeks. I didn't know he had as deep a roots as he really did. But yeah, it just shows that not only that how much he cares, but how much we care, and how much the people in the city of Milwaukee and the state of Wisconsin care about what this team's doing. It's a great feeling to know that the community's behind us, and the way we play affects people's lives, positively. If we play well, then there's a genuine happiness around the city, and you feel that as a team. You don't take that lightly, and hopefully we can continue this run for the city and the state.
And to your right, guys. Tom.
Christian, could you tell us a little bit about growing up in LA? Were you a Dodger fan? Did you go out to Dodger Stadium a lot? And what's it like to be playing them?
In a short answer, it's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I've definitely been in my fair share of Dodger games growing up. Didn't grow up too far from the stadium. It's where I first learned or first watched Major League Baseball. I had a lot of friends, family friends that had season tickets, and we'd all go when we were little kids, and you'd go after you played your own baseball game and change out of your uniform in the parking lot at Dodger Stadium to go put on street clothes and go watch the game. So there's a lot of fond memories there. It's a lot of friends and family that they always told me growing up that if we ever played the Dodgers in a playoff series that they'd be rooting for me to do well, but us to lose and the Dodgers to win. I think we've converted them. They're all rooting for the Brewers now, which I never thought I'd see the day. But it's going to be cool for sure. I mean, like I was talking about it yesterday, like 10-year-old, your 10-year-old self probably wouldn't really believe, what was about to take place here over the next week or so. But it's going to be a great opportunity, and something that, just going to have fun with, enjoy it, and just try and take it all in.
Question, Scott?
Yeah, Christian, following up on Tom's question, when you went to Dodger Stadium, does any one game or one moment over your personal visits there as a kid stand out? Any player or game?
I think I was at the game when Gagne blew his save streak, actually. So I remember that one pretty vividly. But, yeah, it's just I remember watching Sean Green, every time he had a homer, throw his batting gloves into the stands. And, it was just cool, man. You just hung out with your buddies there one day dreaming to, just make it to the big leagues and play on that field, let alone have it be in the NLCS with a chance to go to the World Series. And it's all really hard to comprehend and to put into words of like how that feels. And, I was talking with friends and family and being like, can you believe like this is actually really happening right now? So it's cool, something that I'm really looking forward to, and it's just really exciting.
To your left, guys. Tyler.
This is for, I guess, both of you, Jesus and Christian. What impact have Lorenzo Cain and Mike Moustakas made in here, but given their experience with the Royals, have they helped you out at all during this run? And just sort of what's your overall impressions of those two guys?
They've been in this situation before. That's the best part for us. They are a great leader. They are a positive guy, and they already show it until the past 3 weeks we've been playing really good. Follow those guys. Now we got to keep going. We got the guy beside me too. Everybody try to follow those guys, and we start to play really good. Now we got a good match. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the moment's not too big for those guys. I mean, you saw it last series with Moose. Just where when you're in those big situations, you try and slow it down. 'Cause I feel like they all tend to speed up on you, especially in the postseason. And as a player, you just want to slow it down and really just focus on getting the job done. And Moose was able to do that. They've both been huge for us all year. Great leaders, great teammates, and we're going to need them. We're going to need them going forward here in the series, and it should be an exciting week or so.
In the upper right corner.
For Christian, you fared really well against Clayton Kershaw in a relatively small sample size. Why do you think that maybe is, and how much time do you spend this week looking at past at-bats you've had against him?
A lot of luck. I mean, he's one of the best pitchers in the game. It's a tough at-bat every time you face him. It's a battle. You enjoy that as a player, though. You're going up against the best, just to try and see how you stack up, and you enjoy competing. And it seems like he really enjoys competing, and it's what it's all about. It's what makes this time of the year really fun. It's what you play for as a player, and like I said, he's a great player, great pitcher. He's had an unbelievable career, and we know it's going to be a battle. And when you face a guy like that, it's about execution. You're not going to get a whole lot of opportunities, but when you do, you got to capitalize on them and really do all the little things right. And we're going to be focused on that as a team. And like I said, it's going to be a great battle, and we're looking forward to it. And it's what makes this time of year fun.
To your left, guys. Jesse.
Just a follow-up to that. Do you recall the couple times you got to him this year just because of his stature? I mean, you've had many good nights, and have you figured out his slider?
I don't think you ever figure out a guy like that. You're just trying to compete. You're trying to battle. He doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes when you're facing him in that bat. You may only get a pitch to hit or two at the most, and you can't miss him. And he's tough on you. Sometimes you don't get anything to hit. He's just gonna strike you out. This is what happens when you face guys like that. And you really have to have a good approach, a good plan, and you have to be able to go execute it. And like I said, if he makes a mistake, you have to capitalize on it. And if he doesn't, and you get out, you just got to keep going. You got to keep passing the baton and just up and down throughout the lineup. You got to keep putting pressure on him. And it's gonna be a team effort. It's somebody that we're gonna have to really just keep grinding on and see what we can get done.
In the upper right, Arash.
Christian, 6 weeks ago, you guys are 6 games out, and it's been 3 weeks where you haven't lost. In this 11-game win streak, what have you learned about this team? What stands out the most from this tear?
You can accomplish a lot when you're just focusing on the present and one game at a time, and you're not getting caught up in the big picture. And I know I've said this repeatedly over and over again, and it's starting to sound like a cliche, but at that point, which was the most memorable point of this season, is where we just said, hey, we got to focus on tonight, and we can't worry about how far back we are, who's winning or who's losing. We need to control what we can control, and we really just set out to, as a group, focus on putting all of our energy into winning that day or that night. And then once that was over, we'd move on to the next day and the next day and the next day, and they just started to build and add up. And obviously, we've seen what's happened in the past and how it unfolded, and we're going to keep that mindset going into this series, and we'll see how it plays out for us.
On the center over here.
Jesus, when you came to spring training, you didn't really know what was going to happen. You weren't really sure where you were going to end up. What did you think was going to happen when you got to camp, and how satisfying is it to be here now today with this team?
The only thing what I keep in mind is control what I can control. I just try to do the thing the right way in the field. The time goes perfect, and that happened in the moment. A lot of things happened in the moment to make room for me, and the rest is history. The rest is history. Now we're here. Now we're here to try to be a championship. I believe a lot of good things are going to happen.
On the second row on your right, Bill.
Christian, in this day and age, a guy who hit as many more home runs in 1 year compared to the previous year, everybody would say, well, did he revamp his swing using launch angle? You said that's not something you were interested in. Why not, and what do you attribute the difference to if it's not that?
Well, it definitely wasn't a conscious effort to change launch angle. I never talked about launch angle, never mentioned launch angle. I've had this conversation a lot in the past, and like I've said before in the past, it's going to take us a lot longer than the time we have here to explain it and explain the way of going about it. But as short as I can be is just understanding yourself as a player, understanding what you do when you're succeeding, understanding what you do when you're struggling, and trying to lengthen those stretches of when you've been successful and understanding your body positions and what you're doing during those stretches, and trying to just apply that and be disciplined in your approach and your routine day to day, stay focused and locked in on what you're trying to accomplish. And I think that was the biggest thing that happened in the second half, was just trying to improve as a player. And like I said, we can have this conversation somewhere down the road where we can get more in depth and really talk about it. But it wasn't a conscious change in launch angle. I know there's a lot of people probably hoping that I would say that because that's just the trend in baseball, but wasn't the case.
I'll take a few more in the second row.
Christian, Ivan Moreno with the Associated Press. I've been speaking to Brewers fans of Serbian descent here in Milwaukee who feel a special connection to you and are cheering you on and really want to see you succeed. What does that mean to you, and how important is your heritage both on both of your parents' side?
I mean, it's cool anytime that you can, have an impact on anybody's life in a positive direction, or bring happiness to a community or just a certain group of people. And you don't take that lightly as a team, as a player. And honestly, I haven't really done a whole lot of research on my descent or heritage or anything. I've never been to Serbia or anything like that, but yeah, you feel pride in it, and if you can bring happiness to anybody's life, anybody's day, you don't take that lightly.
Try to do four more. Pedro, to your left, guys.
Jesus, you were here last year. The team was good, but what message did it send to everybody in the clubhouse when they trade for Yelich, they sign Kane, and then during the season it's Moustakas, Scope, Gio, Granderson? What message came through to you guys?
They want to win for sure. Until they made those moves in the off season, that means for like they want to win. We was really sure. I mean, really close last year to try to make the postseason. Now, with those moves, they show us like they want to battle. They show it, and we made it. And now we got to keep going. We got a great team, great guys. Everybody's connecting. That's the most important thing. And now we got a good match with the Dodgers. Let's see what happens. It's gonna be a good match.
Now we'll take a couple last ones. Jared, to your right, guys.
Christian, how much does the dimensions at Marlins Park impact how you went about your at-bats earlier in your career, and how much you think playing here has increased your power?
Yeah, I think it's definitely been a factor. I think if you just look at the stadium dimensions, Marlins Park's probably one of the bigger ones to the gaps in the middle of the field, and here is more. It's more fair. It's more of a I guess you could say hitter-friendly park. It just allows you to stay within your approach as a player, and you can be rewarded for it, and feel like you can leave the ballpark at any part of the field, and you have that in your head, subconsciously when you play in a bigger ballpark that maybe you need to. Pull side is where you're going to have a lot of your power, and just to be able to have a consistent approach all year and really be able to stay locked in on that and be rewarded for it was nice. And like I said, I really enjoyed playing here, enjoyed hitting here this year, and hopefully it continues.
I'll take two last quick ones. Joe?
Christian, obviously a breakout year for you in a lot of ways, but specifically against left-handed pitching, and the Dodgers have quite a few left-handed starters. I was just wondering what adjustments did you make, if any, to improve in that area against lefties?
I think it goes back to, just learning yourself as a player and trying to improve, and really looking about what you do when you have success and what you do when you don't. And they've got some of the best left-handed pitchers in the game, and it's always a challenge. And you're just going to compete, and I think competing gets overlooked sometimes, where if you just the competitiveness that you bring to a game and a bat, it can go a long way. It really can if you just really trying to will it to happen or find a way. I think that gets overlooked a lot in this game, and that's been a big emphasis not only in my game but as our team, is just to compete as hard as you can every single night at bat to at bat, whether you're a position player or a pitcher. And that's what we've been doing. That's what I've been doing, and it's paid off for us.
Finish up with Tim at the top.
Question for Christian. Thinking about the last 8-9 months, when you come, you're a new guy without a huge national profile, to now when you're getting MVP chance and starring on the best team in the NL, what has that rise and brighter spotlight, more attention been like for you?
It's been fine. It hasn't really changed how you've gone about your day or how you've performed as a player. It's been a crazy year for sure. I think a year ago today, if you told me that we'd be sitting here talking to all you guys and getting ready to play in the NLCS with everything that's transpired over the last few months, I might have called you crazy. But it's been a great ride. It's been a lot of fun. You're enjoying it as a player. It's been an honor. It's been a great group of guys to go out there and compete with, and we're looking forward to more. It's been a great story for us up to this point, but I feel like we have a few more steps that we can take as a team, and we're looking forward to having that opportunity.
I do not mess with the scheduling for Washington. I do not know what happened, but it's a good lineup. I'm sure they have a amount of guys that they can move around and put pieces together. So our job is to minimize the damage as much as possible.
Other questions for Gio? Adam, we'll get you the mic. He's coming from the other side. Oh, there we go.
Gio, after not getting into the division series round, what did you think when they told you, game one, here you go?
Get my bullpen in, get as much throwing in. And from what I see, they didn't need me in the first round. I think our starters did a great job, and our bullpen, obviously, hands down, is the best bullpen in baseball.
And to your left, Gio, Gabe.
Yeah, Gio, going back just to August 31st, way back, yes. How unlikely does it seem to you're out of Washington in Milwaukee, you're here starting game one of the NLCS. Just from that context, how unlikely does it seem for you to be sitting here right now?
It's exactly what it sounds like. Right now, August 31st is August 31st, but now we're, October 10th, 11th, ready to go and pitching game one. So it's a pretty cool story in my perspective. It's pretty cool to represent the Brewers and exactly what it is. They wanted me to be a part of this, and I was excited to know that I'll be going in the second round.
On your right up near the top, Jared.
Gio, you obviously faced Yelich a lot when you guys were both in the East.
Oh, there you are.
Right. How much different of a hitter is he now than the guy that you faced when he was just coming up with the Marlins?
He's a completely different hitter. He's in a smaller ballpark. He's not batting in a 500 all-around field. I mean, that's a big ballpark in Miami, so it's beneficial sometimes to the pitcher. But I think he's been the same hitter from when I faced him before. He's unbelievable. I think he's an incredible silent hitter. There's not much movement in his hands. He's just got an approach that he has on you, and he feels that he picks it up along. He picks up whatever he needs to pick up on as far as hitting and what he sees, what he wants to do to certain hitters, certain pitchers. So for me, he also has that protection in the front and protection in the back of the lineup that's going to help him out. I mean, which he had the same in Miami. So he had a lot. I think he's still a phenomenal hitter.
Second row on your left.
Gio, when you left D.C., you mentioned a change of scenery could be good. What has that meant for you in the last month, and what do you think you've done in that time to earn the trust to get this start in this game?
I don't know. I couldn't explain what was going on. I just wanted to pitch, and I think this team helped me out. Guys were, making great plays. Guys were, helping me out. Bullpen was unbelievable, so you knew that it was immediately just goes. You can go as long as you want, and then you have the bullpen to kind of pick it up from there. I mean, there was a safe haven over there. So for me, it doesn't take away from the guys that I got to play with in Washington. They were phenomenal, and I built such a great relationship with guys over there, and now I'm hoping to do the same thing here in Milwaukee. These guys have been great. They've been brothers to me, and they treated me like I was one of the guys since the moment I arrived here. And to get some text messages and stuff like that from guys that I played with in the past and that are playing now with Milwaukee. So it was kind of cool to know that they wanted me right away, and they brought me in. So I can only be thankful and grateful for what I've been doing now.
And on the third row, Bradford.
Gio,
One of the underrated things about the Brewers this year has been how good the defense has been, even though they play a lot of different guys and move guys around a lot. And just coming over to the team when you did, what has stood out to you, not just about the defense as individual players, but the way that the game planning works with the defense and the pitching game plan working together?
I think they do a great job. Coaching staff does a great job, putting the players where they want. Plus, you got some guys with some gold glove caliber, defense. In the outfield, you're 100% feeling comfortable that anything hit in the air, it's pretty much going to be caught. And then in the infield, from corner to corner, I think it's unbelievable. Guys are playing positions they've never played before, and they're doing great plays. T. Shaw was unbelievable. He made some great plays in round one. So to see that kind of stuff, and Orlando was unbelievable. Scoop, another guy out of the bench if we need him. Moose has been great, and then Augie's been making some diving plays that kind of saved our tail a couple times.
And the first row on your right.
Gio, just from your last start against the Tigers, at this particular point in time, can you share what you've done since then in terms of, how you've mapped out your bullpens and your throwing program just to stay sharp since your last start against the Tigers?
I think I had one kind of up and down session in round one against the Rockies where I was in the bullpen, kind of getting warmed up, kind of getting going. But as far as what I've been working on with DJ has been great. He's been helping me out big time with my mechanics, certain tweaks he's done with just my footing and stuff like that. So I give him a lot of credit for that particular reason. He helped me change a big part of the way my season was going. He helped that big time and put me in the right direction. And I was just trying to use that as much as my momentum as possible. I worked a little bit yesterday in my bullpen, and there's still here little things that I want to keep working on, and it's been great. So I just try to stay loose, keep throwing.
Third row in the middle, Adam.
Gio, even in the 6 weeks you've been here, you've seen some creative stuff done with the pitching, a bullpen game in St. Louis, the bullpen in Game 1 of the Division Series. As a player, do you have to be a little more on your toes when you know this is an organization that maybe is going to surprise you from time to time?
I think for me, it just sets the tone. It definitely lets you know how valuable and how important our bullpen is. These guys are phenomenal. Any one of these guys can literally lead the game and start the game off. So you got guys that have pitched in regular season starters, and then you have guys that are just full-time bullpen guys. So for me, it's pretty cool what's going on. I mean, Wade Miley has been incredible, and Chacin deserves every credit in the world right now. He's a big reason why we're here, and he's done phenomenal. I think he's definitely been our horse, and then Wade, Zach, even Chase Anderson has been phenomenal. I think just piggybacking behind these guys has been great.
Standing at the top, JP.
Farhan Zaidi was with you there in Oakland for a little bit. I'm wondering how well you and he knew each other, and is the fact that you're going to be facing the Dodgers here where he's the GM, is anything special to you?
It's always nice to see Bobby. Bobby's a good dude. He's been, I've seen him. He's known me for my careers. He's seen me when I was a young kid with no facial hair. Now, 2 kids later and a beautiful wife. I think it's pretty cool to say that we've, seen each other for over 10 years. And baseball has a funny way of kind of introducing us back together. And I think it's pretty cool. Just try to do my best not to show him all the good stuff.
Right here in the first row.
Gio, a lot of fans around the country like to think that they're the best fans in baseball. But what are your impressions early on the Milwaukee Brewer fans, and what's it been like for you here in Milwaukee?
I think they're extremely classy. I think they're very polite. They love their players. I haven't been here long enough, and from the greetings that I get in places I go to eat and certain restaurants and even where I'm staying at, the people are absolutely super nice, super kind. My Uber drivers are really nice too. They're big fans. So it's kind of cool to know that the whole city's behind us, and the way we kind of get our support, it's incredible. It's nice what they're doing. It's appreciative. These guys, they understand, every single one of the fans understand what's in stake, and they're enjoying the ride just like we are.
Tom in the third row.
Gio, you played with one of the great players in the game, Bryce Harper, but you arrived here just in time to see Christian Yelich lose his mind for a month. What was that like watching him on a daily basis? And did you pitchers talk about, man, I'm glad I don't have to try to get him out right now?
Yeah, he's been red hot. I think even when I was with Washington, he was talked about that he was red hot, and it showed. I mean, he had one at bat that literally cashed in a couple runs that changed the whole game, won the game there, and what he did against the Cardinals, what he did against the Cubs. I mean, he's been red hot. But again, it doesn't also take away from the other guys in the lineup. I mean, every single one of those guys in the lineup. T. Shaw has over 30 home runs. Augie has over 30 home runs. Even guys on the bench that are dying to go up there and bat could easily hit a couple home runs that can win us a game. Moustakas has been incredible. Bronny was huge for us. I mean, Locaine, leadoff batter. I mean, that's just naming every single one of these guys. It's not easy. It's definitely a tough game to play and tough lineup to face. So it's definitely have to have your A game against guys like us.
Standing at the top, Ken.
Gio, knowing that you might only need to go 3 or 4 innings, that's all they really want of you, how much does that change your approach coming into a start and during a start as well?
You got to give them the best you got. And the way I told Counsell is like, any way you need me, any style of pitching, I'm in. This is an opportunity I get to share with a bunch of great guys, and hopefully, we can continue our success and keep riding the high that we're living right now. So I think that for me, it's I want to be a part of it any way possible, and I think that whatever Counsell needs me to do to pitch and get outs, I want to be there, no matter how many innings I got to go. And again, with this bullpen, it makes it really easy to kind of like say, all right, we're all right, we're good to go.
A couple last ones, starting right here on your left.
Joe, what are the biggest takeaways from your past postseason starts, and do you feel like you have something to prove as a playoff starter?
I just want to pitch. I'm just grateful I get to pitch for another postseason game and with a different team now. And, I was almost on my way home, the end of September. So to sit here and I'm pitching game 1 of the second round, I think it's pretty remarkable, pretty incredible. And hopefully I get to tell my kids about this one day.
It's a thrill. Look, I think my idea after I retired was to, be a part of this organization in any way I could to help baseball in Milwaukee and in Wisconsin. I didn't, set out with a plan to become the manager or do anything else. I wanted to help. We've gotten to this day or this point, and so it's pretty cool for sure. But I do feel like baseball in Wisconsin and Milwaukee is part of my responsibility, and I'm the best reason to celebrate this for me is how it makes everybody feel, and how we've been able to take our fans on a journey here this month, and hopefully find some new fans that are enjoying baseball.
The upper left, James.
Craig, the Dodgers seem to value, versatility positions and, different batters that face, left-handed pitcher or right-handed pitcher. What is the challenge in facing that where you have so many more, say, hitters to prepare for, and also once you switch pitchers, potentially a new lineup comes in?
Yeah, it's not, really after playing a month of September baseball, like there's only 5 players on the bench. It feels like nothing, to be honest with you. So it's, they have, I think when you get to the postseason, the teams have good benches. There's good hitters on the bench. That's part of a postseason game. And matchups are part of today's game. The managers are trying to get matchups. And so you got to manage the game. Both sides are not going to get matchups in every single case, and not going to get every matchup they want. And ultimately, this boils down to the players, the players competing against each other, which is how it should be decided, is the players competing against each other. So, they've got left-handed hitters and right-handed hitters as we offer the same thing, I think. So, it's challenging for both sides to navigate through that.
Second row to your right.
And Craig, kind of spinning off the first answer to Pedro's question, you talked about the responsibility that you have to Brewers baseball. I remember a video, I think it was a preseason video at the beginning of last year where you talked about that. Kind of, it felt like, okay, we know we're in a rebuild, but we're all in this together. It's our responsibility. It's my responsibility. Are you surprised then that you're in this seat in the National League Championship Series so soon after making a video like that?
Look, I think we've, you don't, and David has said this the same way, you don't put a timeline on it. You do your job, you try to make a good decision. We've tried to stack good decisions on top of each other. David's done a phenomenal job at adding a whole bunch of really good players to this thing. We've gone out and competed and tried to win a lot of baseball games and done a pretty good job of it. So we've got ourselves in this position. So, I mean, I don't know. There was no timetable, and it's you just take it as it goes, And we got ourselves into a really good spot. The team, I really believe that we matured greatly as a team, kind of after the trade deadline, and things. You start to see things that made you think of October and the possibilities of October. And then, we've gotten on a pretty good run and found ourselves in the spot. And we feel like that we can compete against anybody.
Up near the top, Fran.
Craig, how did you decide on Gio for Game 1?
Yeah, so with Gio, we just we like the matchup. We like the matchup against their lineup. And, we talked about, it's no secret that we're going to use our pitching a little differently than traditionally, than the traditionalists would like. And so for us, the first matchup that we liked was Gio on the mound. We're asking Gio to go out there and get a bunch of outs. How many? We'll just see how it goes. We know we've got a lot of guys. The depth of our staff is what is the most meaningful thing for me when we kind of figure out how we do this. And so we like the depth of our staff, and we think Gio's the perfect option to start us out.
Same neighborhood, Nancy.
Craig, I'm wondering how you balanced getting guys rest the last couple of days, but also maintaining